Staying with books, this Filipino is proving that online fame can also come in your golden years. It is book From the Heart, How I Became a Social Media Influencer at age 65. Vicente Romano III explores family, politics, and more. We speak to the author right here on The Final Word. Sir Enteng, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Rico.
So what made you decide to publish this book? You know, I came to realize that it's never too late. That even in my 60s, I can be a social media influencer.
Actually, that's the message. No? But I think if you get to my age, you start thinking of legacy, how you want to be remembered. So a lot of people my age would like to write a book, mostly autobiographies. Kaya lang, the way they write it, mostly family lang and friends can appreciate it. Ako, when I wrote this book, sabi ko, I'd like it to be interesting to a lot of people beyond my family and friends. Kaya I thought of social media because everyone is in social media.
Well, the last elections was heavily influenced by social media.
Yes.
And that also plays a big part in your book,
Yes,
Politics.
Yep, I devoted the first 7 chapters into that. No? Yung how social media played a very important role in the results of that election.
And you also talked, Sir Enteng, about the 2022 campaign of Vice President Leni Robredo. What was your role in the campaign?
I was officially part of the campaign team. Doon ako sa what they call the pull-down group. Because if you remember, when the election started, the rating of Bongbong Marcos back then was in the high 50s. No? So even if you raise the numbers of Leni, if you don't bring down Bongbong, then she's not going to win. But mind you, it's not a black ops unit. No? So I was part of the communications team of the pull-down group, and what we did was we just magnified the atrocities of the martial law regime, the excesses of the Marcoses during that time. And we had a team of very young script writers, video editors, graphics artists. We put out memes and videos.
So post-mortem, what made you realize about this campaign and how influential and how important was social media?
Well, the kind of disinformation, the historical revisionism that happened, that was all social media, and they've been doing that for a decade. No? Tapos we were not able to counter that effectively we only had about 6 to 8 months to do it. So it got traction. People started believing all of these stories, all of these narratives that were out there.
And how many chapters are there in this book, Sir Enteng?
There are 17 chapters in the book.
Okay. And what would you say are the most compelling chapters, the most important chapters for you?
I think the chapters 1 to 7 tells the story of the election, plus how I evolved into an influencer. So, nandun yung story. No? But if you ask what my favorite is, I would say that would be chapter 13 when I talked about the 3 weddings of my daughters.
Oh, that's wonderful. Congratulations.
Yeah, because coming from a family of pastors, and I'm an elder pastor myself, I would normally design the wedding so that I give the message to the couple.
And what about chapters 14 to 17?
14 talks about my sons-in-law and my grandsons. And then I think 16, I talked about my wife. So yun, mahalaga rin yun.
Absolutely. Happy wife, happy life.
Correct. And by the way, she was the one who edited the book. So
okay. And how long did it take you to put all these 17 chapters together, write it, edit it, and publish it?
About 2.5 months.
Wow, that was quick.
Yeah.
And Sir Enteng, I was expecting you to give me a copy of the book, no? Written with dedication, Dear Rico, enjoy the book from Sir Enteng Romano. But it looks like we don't have these physical books anymore. They're sold online.
Yes. Right now it's available as ebooks.
E-books, yes.
From Google Play Store and Amazon. But in Amazon, there's also now a paperback edition available.
Okay. Because right now we have the book fair, right? That's happening in Manila. And thousands of people are bookworms wanting to still hold physical book. Is there a plan to sell the book maybe in one of or several of our top bookstores here in the Philippines?
You know, that's what I realized, Rico. When I started this, talagang the intention was just sell it ebooks.
And I'm sure there are more calls right now. Hey, we want the book. We want a hard copy,
Exactly.
hardbound, and we want a softbound.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people are not really used to reading ebooks. They still prefer holding the book physically and, looking at the pages. And a lot of my friends are asking for the hard copy because they want also an autographed copy.
But of course, when you write, when you publish, when you promote, I mean, there's also a lot of challenges, right? In promote. Tell us about the nitty-gritty about going through the process from starting to write it all the way to promoting the book, and of course, selling it on major online platforms.
Yeah, the good news is today it's a lot easier to self-publish. You don't really need a publisher. So I researched about it. And initially, I just wanted to sell the ebook sa Google Play Store because there are three main platforms. That's Google, there's Amazon, and there's Apple Bookstore, right? But Apple does not sell. They only give away books in the Philippines. Google is the most convenient because in terms of being able to collect your royalties, the commercial aspect of it. Just open an account here and then they will remit it to you. But Amazon requires you to open a US dollar account.
Wow.
Before you can receive your payment. So that was the last step that I did.
And Sir Enteng, no, this is your first book.
Yes.
At the age of 65.
Exactly.
Do you plan to write more? And what would be your advice to aspiring authors out there? Maybe like myself, I'm 56 years old. I still haven't written a book. Who would want to get started?
Well, I've been wanting to write a book like 5-6 years before. But this time what I did was I started with existing materials because the hardest part is to start writing and then not being disrupted. So I used all of my postings in Facebook as the bulk of my materials, and then I weaved it into a story. It's like just annotating it. So that took care of the content part. The other thing that normally will stop you from publishing is the sense of urgency. So you keep postponing it. So this time what I did was I made sure the story is about the elections.
Okay.
So if I don't release it early enough, the story will be stale.
So that you put pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so to be a social media influencer, you have to be on all the social media platforms. You're on Facebook, Sir Enteng.
Yeah.
Are you on Twitter?
Yes.
Are you on Insta?
Yes.
I'm sure you're not on TikTok.
I am.
Well,
that was the last platform that I got into.
Sir Enteng, thank you so much for joining
thank you for having
us here on The Final Word and sharing with us your first book ever.
Yes.
From the Heart, How I Became a Social Media Influencer at age 65. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.